Welcome to Big Blend Radio with your hosts, Lisa and Nancy, editors of BigBlendMagazine.com.
Well, have you ever heard a word and spontaneously burst into a song? Well, there's a board game for that, and it's called Spontuneous-the-Song-Game. It's an Amazon bestseller for 3 years now, and it's been out for a while, and it kicks butt. We love to play it, and we love to play it here on Big Blend Radio. It is perfect for all ages, for holiday get-togethers, family vacations, like when it snows up in the cabin. Get Spontuneous out, put your phone down. It's perfect for game night with your friends. And we're excited to have Spontuneous creator Rob Ridgeway back on Big Blend Radio with us today. And I encourage you to go to his website, songgame.com, or go to Amazon, because I believe it's on its way to being #1 for the third time, #1 board game, which means he gets to beat out Monopoly, which, you know, that's cool. So welcome back, Spontuneous. Rob, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Hey, this is cool. So 3 years bestseller, right? And you were #1 for 2 years. So you beat out Monopoly for 2 years straight. The Monopoly, and even Scrabble.
Yeah, it's you know, I joke and tell people that it's a lot like the music charts. So it's always changing up and down, except for on Amazon it changes hourly. So we're pretty much consistently in the top 100 best-selling games, and the last 2 years we've hit that #1 spot a handful of times, so that's been pretty cool. And this year I think the top spot we've hit so far was #6, and right now I think currently we're at #18, so we're always like right there, and you never know, you're a day away or 2 days away from, you know, hitting that #1 spot again, and that's what we're shooting for.
Are you watching it all the time, like stocks, like you want to keep looking at it, and then you're like, don't look at it, because you know what I mean? Do you watch it?
I'm watching it right now.
See, I would be like that too. You know, it's like, okay.
Dang it, we fell to 21.
Yeah.
He's got it on his wristwatch, you know.
I know.
Yeah.
It's like casino machines. I want to see it go up. Like, come on, you know, it's a fun thing. I think that, you know, #1, it's a fun game, and I want to tell everybody how, you know, show how it's played, because it's easy, it's fun. We love playing it on shows and getting musicians to play it too. When musicians come on, they play it, and they get a little nervous, and I'm like, dude, it's so much fun. And then, remember the 5,000 band, Nancy, from Denver? They came on. It's a duo, actually, so it's a duo, acoustic duo. And they got a little competitive, and you know,
oh really?
Once they were featured in the magazine, sent out the podcast after the show airs and everything, and she's all like, "Matt's still mad at me for like kicking his butt." I'm like, "This is great," you know, because people do. There's like the nerves, and then all of a sudden you see this total. Like, I'm going to get you, I'm going to win, but it's really fun. And I've been seeing that you've been doing all these shows everywhere. And so are you getting people to play Spontuneous right there and seeing that kind of interaction too?
Yeah, we do a lot of stuff kind of in the Nashville area. Anything from like the Main Street Festival in Franklin, Tennessee, and did a Southern Women's Show in Nashville. And then we did the what's it called, the Junior League Holiday Mart in Kansas City, and then we've done Pumpkin Fest in Franklin, and then we did the Holiday Christmas Mart, I think is what it was called, in Nashville, and then next weekend we have Dickens of a Christmas in Franklin, Tennessee again. So we've been busy doing the kind of those gift type shows where we're selling to consumers, and people stop by the booth and get to explain the game and have them play a round or two, and they have a ton of fun. So it's always fun to see those who already have the game come by and, you know, say, "We've got this game, we love it," and give you a high five. And a lot of times they don't even realize that I'm the actual inventor of the game, and until my girlfriend, you know, mentions that, and they're like, "Really?"
Oh,
so
you're the one behind
that's kind of cool to, it's kind of cool to get that feedback from folks as they come by, and look forward to doing stuff like that.
Yeah, because I think
Cool.
people always think like Monopoly Corporation behind it, or it's like a Disney thing or something. But what you've created, I mean, it's quality product, and it's again fun. But I think when people realize like this is one dude that went out and created this, and we've covered your story a few times. You're even in Steve Piacente's book of your new fighting stance, your story of really pushing, the entrepreneurial envelope of I'm going to succeed. There is no quitting. There is no going back. I'm going to make this succeed. And you've had people help you along the way because they trusted you, to
Right.
fulfill your vision. And so it's really over the years. What 3 years you've been on the show with us now? I think 4 years.
Something like
Seeing,
that. Yeah.
yeah, see this
Mhm.
growth continue, and also to see your wardrobe change. Because it's this jacket that you have, and I see this. We watch you on Facebook and Instagram, and everybody got to follow Spontaneous Rob there because, and that's your name. I know there's Boston Rob on Survivor, but you get to be Spontaneous Rob. He posts either clips about Dottie the dog, the mascot of Spontaneous, but you go to these shows and you can see people all happy and having a good time, and he's there in the jacket. And I mean that this jacket is important. And
It's a
then
good jacket.
what good?
Good.
All of a sudden, here comes a video of him with his coffee in the morning and this big gift basket, and he's announcing some winner and everything, and he's in the jacket again. So what's going on? I want the gift basket because it looked like there was wine in there.
Oh yeah, we had a game night gift experience where people could sign up to win that when we do this at all the shows where we're selling, and yeah, cheese, crackers, meats. Of course, you got a spontaneous game in there, and then if you win it, of course we got some booze as well. But if you win it, I'll even come over to your house and host a game night. So wearing the jacket,
It's
so
the
that's
game
kind of the
jacket.
deal.
That's okay. So the jacket, this is important. Tell everybody about this jacket because Elvis Presley would give it a thumbs up.
Oh yeah.
He would for sure. Actually, the guy who made it has made jackets for Elvis Presley and more. So it's a Manuel, and I had it made. Well, first of all, we got invited to Manuel's, like he calls it his 80th birthday party, but he's 86, and so every year he has another 80th birthday party.
Yeah.
And
Cool.
we went to his little party, and he's a little Cuban guy, and he's a character for sure. But I saw his stuff and I was like, oh wow, how cool would that be to have a Spontaneous jacket made? And so I went and talked to him and found out that they are not cheap by
No.
any means. And I thought about it for a second, and I was like, you know what? This would be an investment, and I could write it off too as a marketing expense.
Well done.
So
Yes, it's
we were
new uniform.
Mhm.
right. So we were heading into. We had a booth at the Country Radio Seminar, which is where all the country music program directors from around the country come here in Nashville, and they have their big annual seminar. So we had a booth there, and we were trying to basically meet new radio stations around the country who would play Spontaneous on the air by throwing out a word and having the callers call in and sing a song with that word in it. And so because we did that, I thought this would be awesome to have a Manuel made. And so I did, and it was a hit. Like everybody that came by my booth was like, is that a Manuel? Of course, they all know who he is. And I was like, it is. And, it's even, I opened up the jacket and it says Manuel. And then he's embroidered my name in there too. So it says Rob Ridgeway. And, but it's, I mean, it's really, really cool. But he's made jackets for, I'm just looking at his client list right now. Hank Williams, Waylon Jennings.
No way. My dudes. My
Porter
men.
Wagner, John Wayne.
The Duke.
Loretta Lynn.
Oh,
Man.
Dwight Eisenhower.
wow.
Dolly Parton. Emmylou Harris. Roy Rogers. Neil Young. Elton John. The Grateful Dead. The Rolling Stones. Bob Dylan.
The Dylan.
George H. Bush. George W. Bush.
Wow.
Janis Joplin. Jimi Hendrix. I mean, I could go on. John
This is
Travolta.
crazy.
Jackson 5.
I want the
I
jacket.
mean,
Yeah.
yeah. So, I mean, that's just a partial list. I mean, this guy's a legend. And it's kind of funny because we went to the Chicago Toy and Game Fair here a couple weeks ago. And that's more of it's a type of show where you've got your big inventor relations guys from Hasbro and Mattel and Spin Master, you know, all the big companies that are there. And it's probably 300 people total, plus a lot of inventors. And I've met these folks over the years, and obviously I've pitched the game to them all in the past, and they loved it, but they decided to pass on it because it just didn't have the legs yet. And so I asked them, I said, is this a no or a no, not now? And they said, it's more of a no, not now. And so fast forward all these years, and we decided to go again. And I had to stop back in to Manuel's right before we left for Chicago, because at the Christmas Village show that we did, someone asked me to sign in one of their games, and I actually bumped my Manuel jacket with a Sharpie marker. I was like, oh no. So I went into Manuel, and of course they got some chemicals that they know how to do it, and so they're fixing it. And he's got one of his folks taking care of that while I'm sitting there talking to him, and he's literally at the design table cutting out designs. Like he took my measurements, you know, when I went in and had my jacket made. He did everything. So he's not just the face behind it. He actually still does it.
Wow.
And so I'm talking to him, and I told him I'm going to this, Chicago Toy and Game Fair, and that, everybody had passed on the game, years ago. And, now it's been a #1 bestseller for the last 2 years. And he said, I was good friends with Jim Henson.
Whoa.
And Jim came into my office and he cried because everybody told him no to. And you know what happened to Jim Henson, don't you?
Yeah.
I go, yeah. And he goes, the Muppets. And I said, oh yeah, I know. And he goes, he tapped me on the shoulder and he goes, I think you're going to do just fine.
Oh,
and
that's awesome.
that was the coolest thing, to have someone like him say something like that. I thought that was pretty inspirational. So,
that's awesome.
But yes, I have a Manuel, and I'm proud every time I wear it, and I absolutely love it. It's a great conversation piece.
And you're
especially
signing
when I do the shows.
And you get the autograph.
You're autographing, right? But we've got that great photo, and everyone will see it up on, blendradioandtv.com and on this podcasting part too. But you have this, great photo of you with Spontaneous at one of the games wearing, one of the shows wearing your jacket. And you look like you're hosting a game show. Like I see that in your future, like a Spontaneous TV show. I'm like, dude, he could do it, right? Don't you think?
Total game meister, right?
Yeah, but it would be awesome.
If you got a TV show like that, wouldn't that be cool?
Mm-hmm.
That would be cool.
Okay, everybody stay tuned. We'll do stuff. We'll do something in 2020. We've got some video things going on with our podcasting and all of that. So we're going to, we do it through Zoom, where everybody can see each other in little squares. So it's like Hollywood squares. We're going to have to do Spontaneous happy hour. We've got wine. We've got the wine people already. So let's, we can do this. We can have Spontaneous happy hour, and you have to wear your jacket, Rob.
Yes,
that's
absolutely.
Mandatory. The jacket is mandatory. I love it.
But, for sure. That's a absolute if I do. So
now let's tell everybody how to play, because it's so difficult. I'm so sarcastic about it because it's just so much fun. And I want to tell you, I'll tell you about Winslow later, but we actually we've had to. Anyway, I'll tell you about that in a little bit, about our tour, our Love Your Parks tours. We're traveling full time across the country, and you sent us on a story mission to, document music as you go. But your Spontaneous game ended up at the feet of Glenn Fry. There's all kinds of things that have happened with it. But tell everybody how to play.
Well, it's very simple. It's actually based on something that millions of us already do. You hear a word and a song pops in your head. And so in the game, someone says a word and they flip a 15-second timer. The first one to jump in and sing a 5-word portion, at least a 5-word portion, so it could be more, with that word in it, they would win the round and roll dice in advance. So for example, if I said the word is boots, what's the first song that pops into your head?
These boots are made for walking. That's just what I'll do.
Exactly. So it's that simple. It's word association with lyrics. And how many times have you heard a word and a song's popped in your head?
Exactly. And I think it's cool
Happens
for all
all the time.
ages. I love it. I
It's
know you
fun.
have, cards where, okay, no, you cannot use Google to search it out. And then you can sometimes, but to me, I think I know you post this a lot on Facebook too, the importance of board games, we're all digital. Look at what we do with the, digital magazines and all that stuff. But I think the importance of putting that kind of thing down, the video games and all of that. I always wonder about what's going on with kids' brains. Dottie's saying she agrees with that. Is that Dottie?
Yeah,
Dottie.
that is my dog.
Yeah. She wants
She
to
wants
say
to
hi.
give a word. She wants to hear a song with a bark in it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I apologize for that.
That's it. That's your word, dog.
Fun. Yeah, it's funny.
Dog.
Dog is your word, but I think it's great for people to have their dogs around them, number one, and sit down and just get back to real things. It's like reading a real book. So, I'm just saying, I really appreciate that time out that people get to do and have fun together.
We encourage people to unplug and interact, and there's no better way than to do it with a board game. And board games are cool because they teach kids. They teach them how to win graciously, and they teach them to be, good losers. There's a lot of elements about a board game that just teach life skills. So, just interacting with adults and other people. So many times today, I think that these kids get hooked on their phones and their devices, and they won't look in the eye and talk to you anymore.
And they're walking with their phone and they're texting and walking at the same time. We watch that all the time. People walking with their phone in their face.
Right.
Or they make one of those silly videos with Benny Hill music and people walking into things because they're looking at their phone.
Yeah. Exactly.
I might have done that myself in the past.
I know. I think we all do. But for kids, I wonder about the health of the brain waves and getting your hands dirty. I mean, I grew up, I had to make my own toys, and Nancy made me toys when we were in Kenya and South Africa. There was like interaction between kids, and you did learn how to build. You want to build a fort. I mean, do kids of today know how to build a fort? I mean, that's one of the greatest things, is to build a treehouse, build a fort. Use your hands, use your mind, and memory. Right. And I think this also is good for memory. I was thinking also just for a full family, like
Sure.
Generational is a big deal now in travel, and in grandparents and grandkids. They're traveling together now more than the parents even being there. And I think that it's interesting when you play games like this, how good it is for your memory skills. Because you're remembering songs,
Well, it's just to, kind of hit on that. I've played before at senior citizen centers where, the folks there have, they've got dementia, and it's crazy how they can remember lyrics still. That's something that's like hardwired into our brains. And that using that word association, the power of word association, especially with lyrics, is pretty unbelievable. And, to see these folks that can't remember anything, that come out of their shell and start, singing songs that they probably, learned 50, 60, 70 years ago.
Wow, it's amazing. And music gives joy and comfort. It really does. It's joy. And they talk about how the importance of music in your life, So I love it. We've actually, Steve Schneikert, our Hollywood historian, we have New Year's, it's a tradition now that we get on Facebook or, just so or Zoom and use it, Skype kind of thing. So we can see each other, and we play Spontuneous together on New Year's Eve. It's become a tradition.
Oh.
Yeah, we do
I
our
love
thing.
hearing that.
Yeah, we do our thing. We all have different time zones depending on where we are this year. We're still going to do it, but we're in Yuma, Arizona today, and New Year's, what they do, because this is the winter crop capital of the country.
Winter.
Yeah, because it's the sunniest place on earth. So all your broccoli and lettuce and everything get grown here. And so their New Year's Eve thing here is you go downtown in this historic, beautiful downtown, and they drop a giant lettuce head They're going to do it twice, one for when they do the things in New York, and then
This is
once
so
on
weird.
time frame here. So I know we can still get our Steve time in. We'll always get our Steve time in, no matter what on this, even if we're a day late or something. But it's we're going to have a giant lettuce drop. So what's it like in Nashville? You've been there, what, a year, 2 years? Because I remember, when we first connected with you, you were in Austin, and now you're there. What's it like? Are you having a good time?
Yeah, we've been here. Well, it was a year in August that we've lived here, and then we just bought a house actually in
Wow.
February.
Oh,
So
congratulations.
yeah, we're coming up. Thank you. We're coming up on a year of being in our new house, and we're about 2 blocks from Music Row.
Wow.
So we can walk to everything. So that's the
That's
best
nice.
part about it is
Yeah.
walking distance to Midtown, to the Gulch, to we have tons of meetings on Music Row, and that's a couple blocks away. And then we're probably 1.2 miles from downtown, which we walk there all the time too. And it's just nice being able to walk wherever you want to go. And
Yeah.
there's tons of stuff going on in Nashville. I mean, it doesn't matter where you go, you're going to find live music, and the talent here is unbelievable. So, I mean, you're never going to be disappointed with what you end up finding, and all genres too. So
I was going to say
it's a
that
ton of fun.
what I've seen. I know you post clips of some of the music that music shows and concerts that you attend, and I'm like, man, and it's all ages too. I see like the younger generation really developing a craft very early, and whatever Nashville, we interview a lot of musicians too from there, and it's not just country. Nashville has really changed in that way. So
Yeah.
I know when we get back, we're hoping to come through because we're going to Tennessee. You remember Ralph Masigal, the Moonshine Man? He's been on shows with you before. We promised we're going
Yeah,
to
I
go
think
there.
that does sound familiar.
Yeah, we got to talk moonshine for him. So we're going to go there, and we're going to go to Tennessee. We're going to go to the Smoky Mountains. So we'll be hopefully. I know we did a drive-by on the interstate and went through Memphis, and I was like, dude, we're going through 2 music cities. This sucks. We need to stop, but it's just the way it happens on the road. But so as we travel, you sent us on the story mission. Go, we want the music stories, and we've done some stories already. However, now we're going to do this interactive map, and everyone will be up on nationalparktraveling.com under our Love Your Parks tour. We've completed one for public art. We've done some smaller ones too, but Rob, we have done our homework, and it started. We left here at Tucson and Yuma, Arizona. In Yuma, we went to the Tunes and Taco Festival. So they have all these vendors with tacos, all kinds of tacos, and then there's taco eating contests, salsa contests, and there's live music and tequila, so it's a good time. But
Sounds like a lot of fun.
I know.
Yep.
But I remember when we first talked about this, I said, yeah, we could do this. Like we should go to places like Winslow, Arizona, where they, standing on the corner in Winslow, Arizona, from the Eagles. Lo and behold,
Right?
we made it. We did get there. And we drove from Yuma. We were going to Gallup, New Mexico, and we pulled over. We got there right on Route 66. So we took Spontuneous-the-Game, Priscilla, our pink sock monkey. We have a Portofino bag that we have a backpack as my camera bag and these tote bags. And what it is you can pour wine in your bag, and it keeps it insulated and cold, and you can pour it wherever you want discreetly. Yep, it's very nice. So whatever you want to drink, you can do. So what we did, and we had, and they have these little silicone caps. So they've sent us on a mission to do wine, Portofino with a view. And we're like, well, we're just going to do this. And so we poured water. We were being good girls. We don't drink and drive. And we had water in the little Portofino cups. And all these people, like everybody's at selfie, and it's an actual park dedicated to the Eagles song and Jackson Browne and all of this, And so anyway, we ran out there with our water in the Portofino cups, the Portofino bag, Priscilla, and Spontuneous. So we have photos of that. But we had to basically move people away, and they're all like, "Look at me with the statues,"
I know. We're like, no, move on.
Yeah, because they've created a whole park out of it. Because it's talking about Eisenhower when on jackets, that was made for him. He created the Interstate 40 and interstate system because of the war and a better way for tanks. Well, at that point, that made Route 66 kind of shrivel in regards to tourism, and because everybody started in the interstate. So Winslow was one of the towns that started to dry up tourism wise. So this committee said, we are going to create this park because we're in the song. And now it's become this tourist destination. They play music outside, and they have the, standing on the corner in Winslow, Arizona, 2 statues, one from Glenn from the Eagles, and they have a mural and this whole thing. But everyone flocks there. And to get in there and then to go, I'm coming with my board game and my sock monkey and my wine, even though it wasn't wine. We had to be pretty elbowy. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So
They're like, pardon me, excuse me.
We've done that. We went to in Natchitoches, Louisiana, the 40th annual folk festival. Have you ever heard of Tab Benoit? He's a guitarist, more blues and kind of country too. He was their headliner. Yeah, check him out. He's a badass when it comes to guitar. He really is. And we got to meet him, go to some of his lectures, and watch him perform, and filmed him and everything. And all of these old school Zydeco, like this one band, the guy was like, I think it was Goldman Thibodeau and the Law Tail Playboys, all ages. So like the family bands are getting up there, and you're in this big gymnasium kind of room in the university there in Natchitoches. And it doesn't, there's no, like we talk about the phone thing and all that. Everybody was there to dance. And if they're dancing, they're not like looking at themselves. It's about dancing and the rhythm. The bands are the family bands they go to all the fish fries and it's like real. It's really real. And it's a good way of life. When we were there, it was probably one of the most special things, wouldn't you say, Nancy? The folk festival.
It was fun.
And you saw kids playing in a band, for, maybe like a 10-year-old, all the way up to a 90-year-old.
Yeah.
And
all related.
And good.
Yeah,
and I mean good.
Cool.
I mean really good music. So we've done that. We went to the Greeley Blues Jam and got to check out Larkin Poe and some of the best, like the Mississippi, Mr. Sip, the Mississippi Blues Child, Chawa from New Orleans. Oh my gosh, like some of the best blues bands in the world, like performing there. And they have 2 stages, like one on either side of the rodeo grounds or the fairgrounds. So if you're watching one musician, after their set is done, you just turn your chair around and you watch the next band on the other side. It was cool. You should go there with
awesome.
Spontuneous. It is one of the best. And they open it up downtown Greeley in Colorado, Northeast Colorado. They open it up with a Friday Fest. Downtown, so the town was founded with one of the principles being no booze. And now this town became the first town to have a Go Cup district in the state of Colorado. So people are walking around from brewery to brewery in the downtown district. And live music is the coolest. You should go there too. We're just saying, Spontaneous needs to go to these places. We've done Santa Fe.
Might have to check that out for sure.
Santa Fe, New Mexico, Gallup, New Mexico, the Indian dances, watched NAMI award-winning musicians and dancers. But this is the thing. Wolf Creek Pass, Rob, Colorado, 10,000 plus feet to 14,000 feet. I went on the highest paved road in the country. Okay, you're from Montana. How do you do that?
The pass is 14,000 feet?
Yes, high, up, way up there. How do you do that stuff? Do you do that in Montana? Have those 10,000, you going all the way up like that? I almost wet my pants.
14,000 is that's pretty high elevation wise.
I know, and I started to get the giggles. Even I'm scared of heights, right? I just get vertigo. It could be all the wine I drink, but all of a sudden we're in Rocky Mountain National Park. It was 14,000 feet. I'm on the highest paved road. And snow is just a wall of snow on either side of your car, and it just opened it up, right?
Wow.
A few days later, they closed it because of the snowdrift, and they're like, "Welcome to the snowfields." I'm like, "No kidding." I start giggling, and Nancy's like, "Stop it, stop it." It's like, I don't know, altitude, but Montana, Wolf Creek Pass. We went from New Mexico into Wolf Creek Pass in Colorado, and all of a sudden we're up snow. We went from like 70, 80 degree weather here in the Southwest to suddenly like we're cold, and I literally thought I was gonna just cry. It was so high up, and you're looking like you could go right off the side of the mountain. And when I posted something about it on Facebook, all my mountain friends laughed at me. But one guy said, "Well, you've got to check out this song, and it is Wolf Creek Pass." And I looked it up, and It is written by C.W. McCall, and he turned out to be the guy who wrote It's a Convoy, the trucker songs.
Oh, Convoy?
Yeah.
Got us a convoy.
And so it's him.
Yeah,
and he wrote,
that's a good song.
I know. We got us a convoy, and the whole song was about Wolf Creek. Well, not the convoy. He wrote it around the same time, within a year. But this song, Wolf Creek Pass, is about chickens flying out the back of the truck and everything, and the brakes going out. This whole thing, and it would have been better if I heard it. But yeah, do you do mountain passes? Because you have your fifth wheel and stuff. The Spontaneous fifth wheel. Do you ever get nervous?
Most of the stuff we've been on is on an interstate, so it's not too bad. Like, there's a Logan Pass in Montana is a big one. There's nothing that's been like too hairy. I mean, going from, can't remember the name of the pass, but it's right between Missoula and Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, kind of basically going over the Rocky Mountains there.
Yeah.
That can be pretty gnarly sometimes. It's just going downhill is the worst when you're pulling that much weight, because with my RV, it's like 16,000 pounds.
Yikes.
And, thankfully my truck has Jake brakes on it. Or well, they're called exhaust brakes, but it's like a Jake brake in a semi truck. And so, you turn those on and you just gear down and you let your truck, the engine, go boop, 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 boop.
Oh my gosh.
And it slows you down, and you don't want to be riding your brakes, so you're going to burn them up.
Yeah.
So you're using your Jake brake to slow you going down. And when you're going downhill, you don't want to mess around. You keep it, around 25, 30 miles an hour. And, cause if you get to go on, you're going to end up going on one of those runaway ramps, which is not a good deal.
That's crazy.
So,
the runaway ramps would scare me. I mean, the whole thing.
Yeah, because all of a sudden you just here's your block wall.
I mean, I know. We're driving, RAV4, and I'm all like, I'm one of those that suddenly it's 35 miles an hour, everything, when you're going on these mountain passes, because it's like, I feel like if you just sneeze, you're going to go overboard. When we left Colorado, all of a sudden we ended up on the $1 Million Highway. And again, I did every single high pass in Colorado, every single one. And I'm the worst one to do it. This one outside of Ouray, it is known for people just off they went. They just go right off the cliff. And there's no railing.
There's nothing.
Are up 10 to 14,000 feet. And it was getting dark. And Nancy's right on. I even thinking about it now, I feel like I'm going to hurl. I'm like, it was just.
I'm looking down I can see that the tire might not be all the way on the pavement, so you might want to.
I know. And then all of a sudden you're wanting to balance on the middle line of the road, because you're like, if you're on the outside, you want in. If you're in, you're okay. But if you're on the outside, it's not good. But I never for the life of me thought a spontaneous music story for the Love Your Parks tour was going to be a mountain pass. I had no idea. I thought, we'll do concerts and everything, and festivals like we did. I didn't think we'd have a park, even though, I didn't realize the Winslow thing was an entire park. But I didn't know that a mountain pass. And I thought you had thought, because you're in Montana, here I am being chicken, literally. But we got it. Right. We did it. You got to push yourself through. But Spontaneous Rob, always good to have you on the show, and continued success to you with what you're doing with Spontaneous. I think it's fabulous. And how many years now since the day of conception?
This is my 10-year anniversary.
Oh.
And it's pretty awesome. And like I said, we're shooting for that 3-peat in terms of hitting the number one spot. And it's been lots of ups and downs. I joke that it hasn't been all fun and games, but then there's moments when you open up your Amazon and you start reading some of the reviews and you hear some of the cool stuff that people write, and it makes it all worthwhile. For example, here's one that someone said, huge hit, got this as an early Christmas gift from my sister and her family, since they all love music. The report is it's so much fun. They've played it almost every night since receiving it. And the best part is that it won't get old, because you dictate the game by choosing your own words. And she said, apparently my 13-year-old niece is the biggest fan of all. So I consider the gift to have been a huge success, since she'd rather play this than be on her phone or on the computer.
Oh my
So
gosh.
to hear stuff like that,
That's
it like
awesome.
makes your heart melt, you know, and,
Yeah,
and
that's awesome.
to have people come up and moms say that they finally found a game that the whole family can play. And that's
sweet.
what's cool and kind of keeps you going. And but I think probably the icing on the cake in terms of reviews was so I do a sponsorship with the Grand Ole Opry during a segment sponsor, and with that I end up getting some interviews on the radio station. Well, Devin O'Day, the gal who does has the Today in Nashville show, who interviews me, had told me that she was talking about the game on air when Allie Brooks was in there. This is Garth Brooks' daughter. And Allie asked, so what is this game? And so she told her about it, and she jumped on and Amazon and ordered it right away. And the next time she came in, she said, hey, we got that game and played it, and we love it. It's our new favorite game. We play it all the time, and nobody can beat Dad. And I was like, are you kidding me?
Wow.
And I was like, so I'm thinking, well, maybe Devin's just saying that to make me feel good, you know?
Yeah.
And so I end up going to this thing called Backstage Nashville, singer-songwriter show. And Allie Brooks, she goes by Allie Colleen, because she doesn't want anybody to know that her dad's Garth.
Well, now
she's
you let
performing,
that out.
right. Well, it was on, they did the Garth Brooks biography on A&E the last couple nights, and she's interviewed on there. So now everybody knows. But so anyway, she performed, and I got introduced to her afterwards. And of course, the gal said, this is Rob. He invented the game Spontuneous. And she's like, oh my gosh. She's like, we've got your game. And just like Devin had said, she said, we love it. It's our new favorite, and nobody can beat Dad. And of course, at the time, I had to pretend like I didn't know who her dad was. And so I was like, oh, that's awesome, you know? And, but anyway, to hear that, you know, one of my heroes, Garth Brooks, has the game and played it and loves it, like, that's pretty cool, you know?
That is cool.
I remember.
So maybe someday I'll meet him.
I know, because I remember when we did your 10 questions, you know, the success insider of a board game man. I mean, we don't get to do that many kind of interviews like that with board game creators, you know. I remember,
Right.
you know, who would you want to, you know, meet or hang out with? And you're like, Garth Brooks, dude, anything to do with Garth Brooks. But he's a good guy, man. He made Kelly Clarkson cry. I mean, because he's in a nice way, but you know, his singing, but he's like genuinely like everything I've seen about him is that he's genuinely nice. Like he's one of the, you know, there's no he's
a
got
good person.
integrity.
Yeah.
He has
Awesome.
integrity, you know. So that's awesome, dude. You're getting there closer and closer, you know.
We're like 1 degree separation away.
It's gonna happen
with about 4 or 5 different people.
Oh, just
that are
now,
all 1 degree
Spontuneous is
separation.
going to be in all the band swag bags and stuff like that. You know, I see it. This is awesome. I think your move to Nashville is really cool, but we're going to play a song for you. It's, you know, we always love to play music for our guests. And because you went from Austin to Nashville, and, you know, our moonshine connection, and because it's the holidays, everybody's going to have a little shine somewhere. We're going to play a song from Shelley King, who's from Austin. She's the first lady of music for the state of Texas, by the way, very first lady who has that title. And she's got a brand new album coming out, but this is off of her album Fan Faves. It's called Tennessee Whiskey. See the connection? Got to do that. So everyone check out ShellyKing.com. But of course, keep up with us at BigBlendRadio.com. Our shows air Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, and all kinds of outlets. We're in over 20 places, all the main things. You can check it there. But we also want to make sure you go to songgame.com or go to Amazon and go get that #1 title for Rob with Spontuneous-the-Song-Game. So check it out there and watch for our music map on nationalparktraveling.com. Thanks so much for joining us, and happy holidays, and just keep on keeping on, I should say.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. And I hope both you and your mother, Nancy, have a wonderful Christmas, and I can't wait to chat with you again.
Absolutely. Cool. And don't forget Priscilla the Sock Monkey. She says hi.
Okay. Tell Priscilla I said hello.
All right. Well, we'll see you when we get to Nashville. You take care.
Thank you.
Every night at sundown, Mama pulls the bottle down, just a little nip to pass the time. Summer's never gonna pass, mosquitoes buzzing in the grass, wet beating on my glass, feels so fine. Smooth, smooth Tennessee whiskey. Sitting on the river banks, walking down the tracks of